Hello. So let me just discuss about optical instruments, the introductory part. The first thing is I'm going to tell you some interesting facts about human eye. So human eye is one of the most sophisticated instrument that is present in the human body. It takes care of certain optical phenomena. It takes care of certain nerval phenomena. It's a very highly capable processing unit. So it's a very sophisticated instrument, but the light principle of the human eye, the optical principle, that is relatively easy. So it's basically nothing but a convex lens through which light enters, and image formation takes place on a screen behind inside the eye. At the end of the socket of the eye, you will have the retina, which behaves like a screen, and image formation will happen on the screen, and then through nerves the signal will be sent to the brain, and brain will sense that particular image, send the signal back, and it appears as if you will be able to see the particular object. Now let me tell you some very interesting things about human eye, which will be quite useful for our discussion on optical instruments in the chapter of ray optics, which is there in class 12. It's a very important chapter for CBSE board exams and also for your JEE main and NEET competitive examinations. Questions from optical instrument generally are not tested in JEE advanced examinations because it is not part of the JEE advanced syllabus. You have this only for your CBSE board or 12th standard board for any board that you might be in, and you have it for your JEE main and NEET. Okay, so let me just tell you now some things about human eye. See, human eye is capable of seeing both real images and virtual images. So it's a general misconception that human eye cannot see virtual images. Absolutely, it is not the case. Human eye can see both real image and it can also see a virtual image. But there is a big difference. The difference is something like this. Human eye cannot see a real image directly. What that means is, let's say for example, you have a concave mirror. Okay, you take an object and place the object between the center and focus of that particular mirror. So image formation takes place beyond the center, it is going to be inverted. So these properties of a concave mirror you must be aware of. So you place an object here, real image formation takes place at this location. Now you see that I have shown a screen at the location of this real image. I have placed a screen. So on the screen the real image will be formed, meaning that if suppose the screen is not there and directly human eye is present at this particular location, the human eye cannot directly see this particular real image. The human eye can only see the real image if it is going to form on that particular screen, and that screen will scatter light. On the screen you have that image, and the scattered light from the screen will reach the eye, and it will appear as if there is a real image formation which has happened on this particular screen. So without the help of a screen, human eye cannot see real images. But it is the exact contrasting opposite in the case of virtual images. Human eye can directly see virtual images. There is no need for a screen. What will happen is this. Imagine a real object placed in front of a plane mirror. So you know that plane mirror will form a virtual image. So the object is here, its virtual image is formed at this particular location, and let's say you have a human eye at this particular point. So the light ray which goes from a particular point on the object will go and fall on the mirror. It will get reflected and reach the eye. Once it reaches the eye, now the eye will perceive as if it is coming from this particular location. The eye will be able to see this particular image. For the eye, it will appear as if this light has come from this particular source over here. So this eye will be directly capable of seeing that particular virtual image at this particular location. But the difference is, there is one more difference that you need to note for the case of real images and virtual images. Now real images can fairly be seen over a large range of points. So whether the eye is here or here or here or here or here or here, the light from this particular screen will get scattered in a large angle of directions, and it will be able to reach the human eye wherever the human eye is. Whether it is here, this, at all these locations, it will be capable of reaching the eye. But that is not the case for a virtual image. Suppose say you have only this mirror over here, and if observer is located, let's say at this location. So if that is the location of the observer's eye, okay, now this observer will not be able to see this virtual image because there will be no light ray which will go and fall on the mirror, get reflected and reach the eye. So this observer cannot see this particular virtual image. So wherever is the field of view, only within the field of view, observer will be able to see virtual images. But for real images, since scattering is happening in all directions after it falls on the screen, human eye can see it over a large range of points. But the thing is, human eye cannot directly see a real image if you do not have the screen. Okay, and in this chapter of optical instruments, our major focus will be on human eye seeing virtual images with the help of certain optical instruments. Now, why do we need optical instruments? Suppose say there is a particular entity which is like quite small. Let's say you have a book in which some text is there, and the text is quite small. It is very difficult, it's very straining on the eye to see a very small text. So what you will do is you will make use of certain optical instruments. So making use of these optical instruments, you will create kind of virtual images, and the virtual images will be bigger in size, and the human eye will be capable of seeing such bigger images. Okay, that is one such use of an optical instrument. So likewise, we will be seeing three different optical instruments in this particular session. So the three optical instruments would be simple microscope, compound microscope, and a reflecting type telescope, which is also called as an astronomical telescope. Now, before we get into that, I'll give you some more introductory ideas before we get into the specific optical instruments. So in this video, I'm going to talk about human eye, which we have already done, and also I'm going to be talking about some introductory ideas to optical instruments, beyond which you will also see discussions on separate optical instruments, which are going to be posted into different videos. Okay, so let me just erase the board and I'll be right back. Okay. So now let me talk about some introductory parts which is required for our understanding of optical instruments. You know the human eye, right? You have all experienced this. So I'll just tell you a particular example, just have a feeling for this. Imagine there is an object. So that object is kept at some distance away, let's say a hand's distance away like this. So I'm holding that particular object, I'll be able to clearly see that particular object. But when that object is brought closer and closer, beyond a particular distance, that particular object will become blurry. The eye will not be capable of seeing that object very clearly. So the distance up to which the eye, the closest distance up to which the eye can clearly see that particular object, okay, that point is called as the near point for the eye. And for a healthy human eye, the near point is roughly around 25 centimeter, and the distance of the nearest point, okay, so I've just shown that in the diagram. So let's say this is the lens of the human eye, and you bring an object. So when it is at infinity, the eye can see the particular object, it will not appear blurry. So the largest distance at which an object is going to be visible without being blurry, that distance is going to be at infinity, which is called as far point. So you take it very far, you imagine for example the sun or moon, even for that example. So moon is very far off, it will not appear blurry, okay, for the human eye. The human eye will be able to see the moon without having any blurry effects. So the greatest distance at which human eye can see objects is going to be at infinity, which is going to be called as far point. And you start bringing that object closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. So up to a distance of 25 centimeter from the human eye, the eye will be able to clearly see that particular object without any blurry effects. And then you bring that object beyond that distance of 25 centimeter, the object will start becoming blurry. If you have some text and bring it close and place it to the closer to the eyes, lesser than let's say 5 centimeter or 10 centimeter distance, it will appear very, very blurry. The eye cannot see anything in that, will not be able to make out what is written in that particular text. Okay, so that point where the eye can clearly see the distance, that closest point, that is called as the near point, and the distance of that closest point, we are going to denote it with capital D, and the capital D is called as the least distance of distinct vision. Okay, I'm not going to write it in full, but I'm going to denote it in short. It is going to be LDDV, least distance of distinct vision. And for a normal human eye, that distance is 25 centimeters. From that, from the eye, the distance is going to be 25 centimeters. Alright, so this is one important point to note about a human eye. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what is meant by angular size of a particular object. Okay, so let me just erase the board and I'll be right back. Let's discuss about angular size of an object. It's very, very important for our understanding of optical instruments. Why do we need optical instruments, and what is that angular size which we are talking about? Okay, so now this angular size, again I try to imagine, for example, you see this cell phone, right? So this cell phone, now I am placing it at some distance, it appears at some particular size. For me it appears it is at a particular size. So when I bring it closer, it will appear bigger, and when I take it like far away, it's a common observation. You see that sun is actually very big, right? But since it is far away, it appears small, right? And this any object for that matter, when it is closer, it will appear bigger, and when it is gone far away, it will appear, the size of that will keep on becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, and as it goes farther away, it will keep on shrinking in size, and human eye will perceive it to be smaller in size. Now what is the reason for that? There is something called as angular size of objects. Okay, and human eye sees the object as big or small depending upon this angular size. Let's say for example, now imagine this marker, and this is the eye level of a particular person. So the marker, I will place it at this particular location. So I'll just show it like this. So initially the marker is over here, or some object. I'm just taking marker as an object, or it could be any object. Okay, that object is at that particular location. Now you take the topmost point of the object and join it to the eye level. Okay, it will be making some angle. Now when the object is far away, the angle will be relatively small, and when the same object is going to move closer, so I'll just move this object and say I'll place it over here. So when it is closer to the human eye, it will be making a relatively greater angle. You see this angle over here, the angle has increased, theta 1, theta 2. Now this theta is called as the angular size of that particular object. So as the angular size increases for a given object, the object will appear bigger, and when the angular size decreases, the object will become smaller. Now there is one more thing with regards to human eye. When the object comes closer and closer, as the angular size increases, the eyes will feel a strain to view that particular object. It's because of the ciliary muscles which is there in the eyes, which will tend to contract the lens or try to elongate the lens. By the ciliary muscle contraction and expansion, the human eye will feel strained to see objects which has a greater angular size, and it is relatively comfortable to see objects which have a lesser angular size. But if you want to see it bigger, you certainly need a greater angular size, although the eye is going to be strained. If you are not able to read a particular text, you need a greater angular size so that you can see that particular text, although your eye might be a little bit strained, it's okay. But then there is no point in bringing the object very close. Then the eye cannot see that image, that particular object without any blurriness, because it should not be lesser than the least distance of distinct vision. So let's say this distance is d over here, the least distance of distinct vision, or this object is at the near point. Let's say height of the object is h naught. Now for the human eye, we are going to only consider objects which are like small in size. Since the object is going to be like small in size, we are not going to consider big objects here in our discussion. We are only going to be concerned with relatively objects which are smaller in size, so that this angle theta is going to be relatively small, and I'm going to make the approximation that tan theta is going to be theta itself, and angular size is going to be theta. So I'm going to write tan theta 2, which is going to be same as theta 2, and that's the angular size. So tan theta 2 will be equal to h naught divided by d, height of the object divided by the least distance of distinct vision. So for different locations, you will have different angular sizes. Height of the object divided by x value, whatever is the distance of the object from the eye, that will become the angular size. And you certainly do not want the object to be located at a distance lesser than d. because if it is lesser than d, then the eye cannot see that object clearly itself. Okay, so you want the object to be seen clearly, and also you want to see that object at a considerable angular size. So you place it at the least distance of distinct vision, so that you are able to see the object also, and it has a good angular size also. Okay, so this is a very important point. Even when the object is beyond that, the human eye can still see it, and in fact the human eye will be less strained when the object is here in comparison to the object being over here, because when the object is here, the angular size is small, and smaller the angular size, the eye will have a lesser strain in viewing that particular object. So these are all some important points to note with regards to the introductory ideas in optical instruments. Now, based on this, we will be discussing different optical instruments, what role they have to play, what is a simple microscope, what is going to be a compound microscope, and what is going to be an astronomical telescope. So I'll make the concepts for all these things in separate videos. So for now, this is it. This is the introductory idea to optical instruments. All the very best. Take care and prepare well, guys.